All right, let me know when you guys are ready. Then we can kick off. You know what time it is? All right, all right, all right. All right. Let's get it rolling now. Waiting for you guys to join in. So once you join in, we can move on. Yes, you know what time it is. It is the time of that time. The time of that time. All right, when I get the people in, then we can move on. All right, so let's move on. When you're ready, type in the comment if you're ready, then we can move on. All right. So you can also feel free to ask your questions, what you would like to learn. All right. So for the past week, we've been learning how to read music. So for people that don't know how to read music, welcome Noah. I see you. How you doing? Where are you watching from, Noah? So also feel free to type in the question. All right, we have you ready, Casey and Lauren in the building. Oh, you play violin. That's good. Great. Where are you watching from? And do you know how to read music? So for the past week, we have been learning how to read music and some other vital things that you need to learn doing music. So regardless of what you do, maybe if you play an instrument or you sing, you play the piano, you play the bass, guitar, saxophone, trumpet, whatever kind of instrument it is. So there are certain things you just need to know basically to set you, get you going on. All right. So, and that should help you play different types of instruments or play different types of music genres, all right? Different kinds. So be jazz, gospel, um, whatever it is, classical, reggae, rock, pop, high noir. So let me get my marker, then we can move on. So feel free to type your question in the comments, then we can look at that. My favorite instrument to play is but I'd say maybe the piano. I would say maybe the piano. All right. So today we're going to be starting off with, I'll give you a simple way to know how to, are the notes read the same way on the music stuff for every instrument? Yes, it's almost the same technique, same technique. So the only difference is the clef. So the clef is what tells you what the names of the lines and spaces represents. So all right, so first thing to be aware of, let's do this, put this way so we can see. So first thing to be aware of, your first 7 letters of the alphabet, which is, okay, this one is done. So let's throw this away. Okay. All right, first 7 letters of the alphabet. We have A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And we have back to A. Oga boga, what does that mean? All right, so this is the first thing you want to basically get used to. So meaning you want to be able to go up and go back down using this alphabets. All right. Oh, it's mirrored. Okay, let me so it's good you're typing. If you don't type in the comments, I don't know what you're saying and I don't know what you're trying to do. So if I get the feedback, it gives me a sense that someone is watching and for me to know exactly what you would like to learn and how to go about that. So thank you, Matt, about that, for that feedback. So I will turn it around now so that you can see properly. So just give me a second. Let me mirror that. Let's see. Okay, what about that now? Can you see that better? Let me bring that a little bit closer. Is that better now? All right, great. Okay, I got that. You got to work, go to work. All right, sweet. All right, great. All right, thanks for the feedback, Matt. So just give me a second because I need to see what's happening in real time. So for some reason, I'm not sure why you cannot just see what's going on in real time without. All right, so see that now. Uh, all right, great. Have a good one, Matt. And thanks for the feedback. All right, so let me know if you're watching, and if you want me to move on, you type that in the comment, then I can move on. So if you also have something you're also trying to learn as well, you can type that in the comment, then we'll look at that. I think maybe it's two. All right. All right, great. I see you ready to learn from the best. Okay. All right. So, like I said initially, what you need to focus on is remember the first 7 letters of the alphabet. So once you have the first 7 letters of the alphabet, um, the first thing you want to start up with first is knowing the scale, right? So knowing the scale. So if you know the scale, then you can, let's see. All right. So if you know the scale, then you can use that, your alphabet, to always build any scale. All right. So I'm going to show you how we can do that. So give me a second. All right. So like I said, the first thing you want to do when building any scale is starting off with um, the alphabet you want to start off with, or the alphabet of the scale you want to start off with. Then you move all through the same alphabet. So all you need to do is maintain the sequence of the first 7 letters of the alphabet. Let me bring this closer. Hold on. So I only got one message from Casey and Lauren. So if you guys are ready to learn, you type that in the comments. I know that you guys are ready. But if you're not ready, then I know I'm not just talking to myself, if that makes sense. All right. Because if not, then I'm just going to be playing music. And while you guys sit back and enjoy music, then. So, but if you give me your feedback and what you're trying to know, then we can move that direction. While I'm trying to set up this other computer, let me see. All right, I see you. You're there. Just trying to set up this computer for this, because I see some other people are ready in this other in the other live stream. So I'm probably going to focus on those other people, and maybe I might end the stream, and whoever is so the people that are probably interested in learning, then I'll direct them to where we have people responding. Let's see. Oh, your connection keeps going in and out. So that's possible if you're on the road, so that can happen. Let's see. All right, so that's the case. All right, so let's keep it rolling. I see you, Odunze Prods. All right, so Odunze Prods is ready. We got Casey and Lauren. So I'm probably just going to focus on the people that are ready. Okay. All right, great. So let's move. I see you, SFJ. So welcome. So now, to build any scale whatsoever, so all you need to do first and foremost is understand that sounds are named using the first 7 letters of the alphabet. So this is the first letter we know, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. As a child, we all know this. So this is the first thing we learn in school. So once you understand this part, so you should also know that you always come back to that A. So for instance, if you're doing a scale of B, you want to start from B, then continue the alphabet. So it means you can think about it like a silent A here. So A, then B, then we have C, D, E, F, G. When you get to G, remember you always have to come back to A again. Then you end on the same alphabet you started with, if that makes sense. So that's the first step. So even if you're trying to build a scale from D or D flat, doesn't matter. You can also do the same thing. So follow the alphabet sequence. So it means A, B, C is silent. Then continue from D, E, F, G. So what happens when you get to G? You start up from A again. So we have A, B, C, then back to D, then you add the flat. So let me know if that makes sense, because this is just the first step of building your major scale from any of the major scales. All right. So this is the first step. So type that in the comment if that makes sense. If you're following so far, before I move to the next, so you don't get confused when I move to the next thing. So let me know if that makes sense, then we can keep moving. All right. So type that in the comments. Let me know if that makes sense, then we can keep moving to the next thing. All right, so in this case now, we're basically just looking at the first step. Yes, we're definitely going to get into sharps as well. So even if you want to get the scale that starts from a sharp, so let's take for instance the scale starts from F sharp, for instance, which is an F sharp scale you're trying to get. The first thing to do is go over the alphabet first. So after F we have, so it means A, B, C, D, E, F, then G. So once you get to G, you know what to do. Go back to A again. So A, B, C, D, E. Then you come back to the same F. Then you add the sharp. So that's the first thing you want to do. All right. So if that makes sense, if you understand so far, let me know. So I'll tell you what the next step is after that. So let's clean this one off. All right. Hello, Gloria. How are you doing? Gloria said hi. Okay. So moving on. Okay, perfect. So moving on. So let's take for instance, now we're trying to build the scale of A. High X, XSC. How do you say that? XSC wins. So let's take for instance, we're trying to build the scale of A, for instance, which is the major scale of A. Oh, Wendy. All right, great. Wendy, where are you watching from? Where are you watching from? All right, so you're trying to build the scale of A. So before we get into building the scales, you want to understand the order of notes first. The order of notes. So understanding how the amount of notes we have in music, all right? The amount of notes we have in music. So basically, if you look at the keyboard, you realize that we have 2 black keys and 3 black keys. So that's all that is being repeated. 2, 3, 2, 3. So in this case now, we have the first note before the 2 black keys, which is your C. So if we go over that till we get to our C, because from here, this is C, then the next white will be the next alphabet, which is D, because after C we have D. Then the next white will be the next alphabet, E, then this will be F, and this will be G. Then when we get to G, we have to go back to A, so which will be A, okay? Then after A, what the next white we have is B, then the next will be C. So all we did was just go over the white keys, all right? So in this case, remember, we're trying to get the scale of A major. before we do that, we want to consider some things. So the first thing you want to realize is that in between A and B, there is a note. All right, there is a note here, and in between B and C, there is no note. So in between C and D, there is a note. In between D and E, there is a note. In between E and F, there is no note. In between F and G, there is a note. In between G and A, there is a note. So basically, what you're looking out for is B and E has no note. So in order for us to build this scale, we want to make use of what is called a tone. Tone. Or Americans will say whole step. Whole step. So basically, a whole step simply means from a particular note, you jump one note and move to the next. So in this case now we have A. This is the note we're going to jump, and this is the next we're going to have. So that's basically what a whole step or a tone means. So if I tell you a tone from A is B. Why is it B? Because from A, we will jump this note and get to this note. So another example, what is a tone from C? A tone from C is you jump this note and take this one, it becomes D. So a tone from C is D. So if we do an example from B, a tone from B, we would have to jump C to get to this note. So now we have not talked about that note. So let's talk about that note. So here we have to make use of what is called a sharp to know the names of these notes. So it means that if we place a sharp, what a sharp does is it will increase the pitch of a note by a semitone. Yes. Oh yes, mass, let me say mass because I'm not sure how I need to pronounce that. So if we place a sharp on A, it goes up. Yes, you are right. So the same thing, C sharp is the same thing as D flat. You are right. So basically, all I want you to understand is anytime you use the sharp, just move the alphabet forward. Anytime you use a flat, move the alphabet backwards. So that should be your go-to. So anytime you use the sharp, move the alphabet forward. Anytime you use the flat, move the alphabet backward. It's that simple. So it means that at the end of the day, we can have A sharp or A flat, B sharp or B flat, C sharp or C flat, D sharp or D flat, E sharp or E flat, F sharp or F flat, G sharp or G flat, A sharp or A flat. So I know some people don't know anything like B sharp. They'll be like, B sharp? What are you talking about? But there is B sharp. So and people don't even know that there is C flat. People don't know. Be like, C flat? What are you talking about? There is C flat. And there is also E sharp, and there is also F flat. So let's look at that. Remember this principle. This sharp will take an alphabet just to the next note in front of it. Just follow the principle, regardless of whatever it is. So sharp will take this alphabet forward. A sharp. That's all it means. Take this B forward. It comes here as B sharp. So that means B sharp or C. It means that note could be B sharp or C. It means that you, as maybe you're from French, you're a French country, or is in France, right? So you would have your French name. Do you understand? Then you also have your English name. So the same person. So That's basically what this means. So you could have two different names, the same person, if that makes sense. All right. So now let's take C, bring it forward. So remember, C is going to be here as C sharp. Then take D forward. This will be D sharp. Then take E forward. This will be E sharp. So you see E now is the same thing as F. I know some people are surprised, like, what is this guy talking about? It is what it is, all right? So F, if we take F forward, becomes F sharp. See that? So if we take G forward, it becomes G sharp. Then we're back to A, so we don't have to do this one. So if that makes sense. So let's look at it on the piano as well. So if we're looking at it on the piano, so remember this is C. This is C. So C going forward here on this note is your C sharp. Then this is C, can also go backward here, which is C flat. You see that? So let's go to D now. So we started from C. So this is a D. D can go forward as D sharp. This same D can go backward as D flat. It's that simple. It's not more than what it is. So E can go forward here as E sharp. E can also go backward here as E flat. It's that simple. F can go forward here as F sharp. F can go backward here as F flat. So G can go forward here as G sharp. G can go backward here as G flat. Then the same thing, A can go forward here as A sharp. A can go back here as A flat. The same thing, B can go forward here as B sharp. Then B can go backward here as B flat. So if that makes sense, type that in the comment. Let me be sure you are following before we move to the next. All right. Type that in the comment. Let me be sure you are following. Then we can move on. All right. You understand? I see you. XSC says I understand. All right. So what instrument do you play? XSC. Did Mass say you're playing? Is it Mass that said plays violin? Wendy, do you play any instrument? Because this basically applies to everyone. Oh, you play the guitar. Which of the guitar? Electric guitar or bass guitar? Which of them? Electric or acoustic? So whichever one. Is it the bass guitar or the guitar or acoustic guitar? All right, great. So this same information applies to every musical instrument. So it doesn't matter. So whether you play instrument or you don't play instrument or you're trying to learn how to play instruments, it's the same principle. All right. So now once you understand that, let's now take note that we set a whole step. So what we did was moving a particular note to the next note in front of it, or moving a note to the next note at the back of it. So that type of movement is called a semitone or a half step. All right, that kind of movement is called a semitone, or a half step. All right, so that kind of movement is called a semitone or a half step. So we're not referring to this. So we're just talking about the movement from a particular note to the immediate note in front of it. So that's a semitone. So, or it's called a half step. So this is basically used by Americans most of the time. So, and why this one can be the British one, all right? So, just all you need to know is that people can use this or use this. So half step is basically from a note to the next note in front of it. So half step could be going up or it could be going down. So if you hear half step down from, let's say a half step down from C, so which is C will come down to B. See that? So even if it relates to you playing a chord, for instance, and let's say you are playing, since we have acoustic here, so let's say you are playing this chord, for instance, which is your C. So let's say we have this. Yes. So if we have this, let's say you're playing this chord and you want to move this chord a tone or a semitone up. So you have to move this up here. See that? But the difference is that you would have to then cover this part because it's out of the neck now. You understand? So I have to try to hold that because of the way I'm holding the guitar, because I want you to see. So if you have this, you understand? So if you move it forward as well, you have the same. So if you keep moving. So this is you moving that same chord and a semitone. So if you want to move that same chord from here, for instance, you want to move it a tone. So you're moving and come here. So that's a tone. So that's just to give you an example of moving either a tone or a semitone, or we can also say a whole step or a half step. So for instance, let's say we are playing the C major chord, and I want you to move that C major chord a tone or a whole step. I'm simply saying from C, move here and move here. So this is what we now have to play the D major. So to be this. So that's you moving a tone. So how can that be applied in real life situation? Let's say you're playing music. For instance, it could just be you're singing a song, and maybe the song that the person is trying to sing is too low on that key. So let's say you want to say, I want to sing, and that key is too low. The person might say, take it a tone higher. So I want to sing. So you take it up. I want to sing. You see that? So that's the language you can use to move somewhere. So for instance, if we're playing on F and I want you to move a semitone higher, so I'm simply saying take that F major chord a semitone higher, which is going to be this note now. So remember, when we go higher, F goes to F sharp. So it means it has to be F sharp major now. All right. So hopefully that makes sense. So tell me now, in this case, let me be sure if you're following. What is a semitone from D? What is a semitone from D? So type that in the comment, then I'll be sure you are following. D sharp, yes, that's correct. A semitone, remember a semitone is a half step. So if this is D, it goes to this one here. It goes to this one here. So I want to give you a trick as well. Remember, in between B and C, that's where you have no notes in between. And in between E and F, that's when you don't have a note in between, if that makes sense. So from B to C is a semitone because there's no note in between. So we're just moving straight to that note. But from B, if we say a tone or a whole step, we have to skip this C and take this one, which would then be C sharp. So we come on the keyboard as well to do that. This is B. And we say a semitone from B will be this one. Because a semitone means a half step. So a semitone from B will be this, which will be C, or you can say B sharp because B is coming forward. All right. So answering the question, so a semitone from D is D going forward here as D sharp. All right. Let me just. All right. So D going forward here. So because D going to D sharp or D going forward to E flat. All right. So if that makes sense, let me know. So I'll ask you another question. Let's be sure we are all following before we move ahead. All right. So what is a semitone from B sharp? A semitone from B sharp. B sharp. A semitone from B sharp. So this is your B sharp. What is a semitone from B sharp? Semitone from B sharp. Let's be sure you're following. What is a semitone from B sharp? Because if you don't understand this part, then you're going to get confused where we are going to now. You will be really confused. What is a semitone from B sharp? All right. So like I said, what is a semitone from B sharp? Hi, Pentatonic Hardcore. How are you doing? Welcome. So I asked the question, what is a semitone from B sharp. Then we can move on. Let's see. No. We're using this one. All right, so let me try this. Let's see.